Okay, so I've been gone a while, but you can't blame me. It's been a long, strange trip. I've worked at some places that I really loved, and some places that I did not at all love, but it all distracted me from doing what I really love, which is making YouTube videos for you guys. And to make up for my absence, I'm going to tell you guys a story. Now, this story is inspired by socialism. It's that up-and-coming ideology that everybody in the younger group wants, despite the fact that it's never worked before, you idiots, man. Apparently, today, the people advocating for socialism in America know better than all the people trying to flee it. Wasn't real socialism, bro. Wasn't real. Yes, it is. It was real socialism. Now, you can see people falling in love all over the place for socialism because of the appearance of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and everyone's love of Bernie Sanders. But to show you how socialism's so fragile, I'm not going to show you anything like past and present examples because those don't seem to work. I'm going to tell you a story of love, a story of loss, and probably some dead gay people. This is a story about how one guy in love could collapse an entire socialist system. Our story begins in the socialist paradise of Socialistville. As you can see, it's perfect. The sun is shining, the streets are completely clean. For some odd reason, there has been no inequality whatsoever. Everything is a paradise. Nothing has gone wrong, miraculously. And it's here that we meet the hero of our story, Bernie Broham. Now, Broham, he's a model citizen here in Socialistville, okay? He supports all the right causes. He shows up to all the Antifa rallies. He's a male feminist, quote unquote. He likes to scream at white people for being white. And one day, Broham is walking back to his government-assigned housing when he sees the most beautiful girl he has ever seen in Socialistville. I mean, this girl makes him go, oh my god, I would give up soy for you. And I fucking love soy. But there's a problem. See, there's another guy here who also has his eye on the hot girl in Socialistville, and Broham's his rival is just way hotter. Let's face facts. Broham cannot compare to this masculine-looking dude. Now, to Broham, this is completely unfair, okay? How dare somebody else be more than anybody in Socialistville, including in looks? There is a handsomeness gap in Socialistville. So Broham, he understands that he's got to up his game. You know, he's got to get more stuff. But he can't do that in a socialist society where everyone is monetarily equal. So he's got a huge problem on his hands. But true to his socialist form, Broham decides, any good socialist would, that he deserves this stuff, so he's gonna take without asking. He justifies it as a handsomeness tax, all right? You know, everyone else is kind of have to pay him for being less handsome than the handsome guy. So Broham goes about lying, stealing, manipulating the system and everything, and he succeeds in getting everything that he needs. And he's well on his way to tempting his lady fair with extra rations of food and toilet paper. By the way, so messed up is the socialist country of Venezuela that they actually pay their military members who do outstanding service with toilet paper. Look at how happy these people are. But since Socialistville is a socialist economy and they don't really deal in abundance, that means that the stuff that Broham stole is going to mean a deficit for other people. Let's remember that producing excess without reward causes people to produce nothing but the bare minimum. So unless you force somebody to do more work, you're gonna have a deficit of items. But there is no force here in Socialistville. Remember, everyone's happy, happy, happy. Suddenly the to everyone according to his need promise that came with signing up for this nonsense is broken. And there's this short-changed guy sitting at home, we'll call him Randy. All right, he's sitting there and he's listening to Big Brother talk about how great the society is, and he's like, fuck that, I need some toilet paper. So Randy, being the go-get-him kind of guy he is, he's like, fuck this system, and he goes out and he gets his, all right? He fills in the blank that Broham left him, and what's more, he takes more items just in case this ever happens again. And obviously, in our society of non-abundance, this is going to cause stuff to go missing for more people, so they're going to come looking for their stuff too. And people are starting to get pissed now, you know? They're not getting the medicine they need, the food rations are not coming in, all right? They're sitting around pissed off and yeah, all I got to wipe my ass with is books now. All I got is the Communist Manifesto, which I guess is appropriate. And Randy and his boys, they get smart. They figure that they can economy better than the state does and end up creating a black market using supply and demand. They get really rich. and attract all the honeys. And the government's like, oh, what do we do now? We got a black market. We have competition to the government. We can't have that. People are out there rioting in the streets. They're starving. They don't have their medicine. What do we do? Well, there's only one thing you can do, isn't there? So the government sends out the police to subdue the populace and make sure that no one's hoarding supplies, so they're raiding homes, and people are like, hey, you can't come in here. And they're like, yeah, we can. It's a socialist utopia. This is all public housing and stuff. None of this is yours. And people start getting really mad about all these searches and seizures, and so they take to the streets and they're protesting. And the government's like, all right, this is causing way too much unrest. Gotta pull back on the free speech, guys. Sorry. So the police come out and they're enforcing it, pissing off the people even more. And at this point now, Socialistville is just on fire, okay? The people are battling the cops in the streets, they're protesting, they're rioting, they're setting stuff on fire. And in the midst of all this chaos, one charismatic guy decides, hey, maybe it's my time. And this guy gathers everyone around him and he's like, hey, we're starving, we've got no medicine, this economy sucks. This government can't do anything worth a damn, but if you put me in charge, I can fix everything. All we gotta do is have a little revolution. And a rabid mob being a rabid mob, they don't look too much into this guy. They just like the way he sounds. And so they're like, yeah, all right, yeah, we can do that. And then he's like, hey, maybe we can kill some gays. And they're like, what? No, nothing, I didn't say anything. And the revolution is on, man. You got the government fighting the people in the streets. People die on both sides, but eventually the people win. They topple the government. They arrest all the politicians. And the people end up putting their revolutionary on the throne. And he just makes it so much worse. Any privileges that the Socialistvillites might have had, he just kind of takes them away arbitrarily whenever he feels like or when it's convenient to him. He ends up hoarding everything. He lacks for nothing while people starve and die. He ends up killing anyone belonging to the LGBT community, which I told you that was going to happen. I don't know what it is with socialist dictators and gay people, but they hate them. And the people are sitting around going, oh, how could this have all happened? How did we get here? It happened because you're a socialist system, and one guy wanted to get laid. That's all. Broham struck out, by the way. He didn't get with the hot girl, but he ended up with some social justice warrior feminist named like Rage Flower or something, and she ended up living with him in their apartment, and she bears 2 children to her boyfriend Chad, and they all live happily together until Broham realizes that he was morbidly depressed and threw himself off the top of the apartment building. I think we just heard a pretty good story. It could compete with Shakespearean tragedies, I feel like. But now for the moral of the story. Socialism can never work in conjunction with human nature. Somebody is always going to want more, or somebody's always going to want better than what they currently have. Even the most stand-up of socialists is at some point in time going to fall into that trap. The reason being is that we are not hive-minded robots, all right? We are advanced apes. If resources were infinite and we had no egocentric tendencies, then socialism absolutely would work. But that's not the reality that we live in. As it stands, resources are finite, and each of us is going to be unequal to another person in some sort of way, whether they're born with it or they become that way. And I know what you're thinking, oh, one guy could never bring down an entire socialist system. Well, let me tell you something, folks. There is more than one Bernie Broham out there. There is always going to be more than one person out there trying to impress a girl, or trying to impress a boss, trying to get ahead, trying to get something they don't have. This is nature. Humanity merged with a successful socialist system is an impossibility, on par with a flat earth. Yes, what I'm saying is that socialists are the equivalent of flat earthers. Later.